I had said that I was going to call you and ask you about this fight, and something happened with the audio portion, the first part of this, but I'm talking about none other than Caleb Sweet Hands Plant versus the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. Now, David Benavidez is 6'2", with a 74.5-inch reach. He's 26-0 with an 88% KO ratio. We have Caleb Plant, who is 6'1", with a 74-inch arm reach. He's 22-1 with 13 knockouts, which puts him at a 56.52 KO percentage, and he did get knocked out by Canelo Alvarez 2 fights ago. We actually have David Benavidez being pretty much the come forward pressure fighter. He's fought David Lemieux, Anthony Durrell, Ronald Ellis, Kyron Davis, and he pretty much makes light work out of all of his victims, shall I say. We have Caleb Plant, who was known as more of the pure boxer with underrated power, I would say, especially with the knockout over Anthony Durrell in the last one, in which he did the dirt dance with the shovel. But in my analysis of actually breaking down this fight, in the Inouye fight with Fulton, I was going over some numbers, and it would behold to you that when it comes to total connect percentages, David Benavidez is number one at 38.4%. Now he's in the company of Loma, Tank, J-Rock, Canelo, and Inouye. You know, some of them guys are in the top 10. When it comes to jabs landed per round, David Benavidez is like right around number 4 with 6.8 jabs landed per round. With ironically Triple G being number 1, followed by Bivol, Inouye, then Benavidez, rounding it out with Usyk, Leo Santa Cruz, Lomachenko. So that's jabs per round. Now, talking about defense. In the top 10, the opponent's fewest shots landed per round. We got Caleb Plant in the top 10, coming out at number 7 at 7.3, with the opponents only landing 7.3. So what we have brewing here is a classic offense versus defense type match here. Now in that category, we got people like Andre, number 1, Shakur, number 2, Bivol, number 3, Fury, number 4, Luis Ortiz, number 5, Caleb Plant, followed by Bud, Pulev, Regis Prograis, and Anthony Joshua. Fewest shots landed per round. Defensive oriented fighters. Now, the other one that shocked me is the power percentage. Tank is number 1 at 47.6. When it comes to power punches, Tank is landing the most at 47.6, followed by Lomachenko. Then David Benavidez at 46.3%. Badu Jack, Bud Crawford, Erslandy Lara, Shakur, Canelo, and rounded out by Earl Spence. So, a lot of people talk about the gas tank. A lot of people have been talking about the pressure, and will Caleb, succumb to the pressure? Some of the things that I'm talking about is back in December, Senior had actually said that they made all these concessions to give Caleb Plant and his father everything that they wanted, and it was almost like the Ryan and Tank thing where they were trying to say that Tank put these things in play to kind of like curb Ryan Garcia from actually taking the fight, almost putting in so many things to where he would just ultimately say no. But Senior said that they conceded to him with Caleb Plant coming out second. Caleb Plant having the blue corner. Caleb Plant having the Reyes, I think what kind of gloves, whatever the kind of gloves they are. So they conceded to the type of gloves that Caleb Plant wanted, and they also conceded to the ring size. You know, and I know you had said that the ring size was in the favor of Caleb Plant. You know, I just think that he needs to use that ring size when he needs to, but he don't need to overutilize it. What do you think?
I say that I believe that if Benavidez is to catch him, it will be in the later rounds, because I think that his movement, his legs will be too fresh during the beginning part of the fight before Benavidez can actually pin him to the ropes or a corner. I think that as this fight progresses and he begins to try to take a little away from Plant, at that point he will be able to minimize his movement. If he's able to minimize his movement and able to put Caleb Plant's back against the ropes, this is the time when Caleb Plant will be his most vulnerable, because this is when Benavidez goes to work. When you are against the rope, he throws these combination type punches, and just on the surface, they just don't look like they're doing nothing but just scoring points on the scorecard. But these type punches that he throws takes an effect on his opponent. So he's got to get Plant against the rope. Plant is too elusive in the middle of the ring to set up your power punches and to take him out in the middle of the ring. You've got to take his legs away from him. And if you can take his legs away from him and his mobility, this will give Benavidez the opportunity to land the big shots on him.
Yes.
But he's got to be effective in weighing him down and preventing a lot of the lateral movement so that he can be effective on his game plan.
Yes, he has to put water in the basement to slow down them legs. And I mean, according to the percentages, he's connecting. So I mean, I was saying that Caleb would have to actually make a miss, because they say one of the most depleting things is for a boxer is to swing and miss. So Caleb would actually have to try to make him miss, but it looks like David is up there when it comes to connecting and landing his opponent. So I would say yes, Caleb Plant has to utilize his legs. He has to utilize that big ring that he requested. His gas tank is just something that, because that's what his biggest knock. Like, everybody brings that up when they're talking about Caleb Plant. It's his gas tank, his gas tank, his gas tank. So I mean, that's not something that, it's something that he would have to have already worked on and gotten better at outside of the ring, because come fight night, you can't just grab another gas tank. So he has to hope that his condition is a little bit better. They both look like they're in excellent shape. David Benavidez actually got a 6-pack and everything now. Like, the dude took it to a whole nother level. He actually looking like extremely ripped. I don't know if you could talk about overtraining, but at least as far as, taking that extra step and that, showing that extra effort, as far as how he look, I've never seen him with a 6-pack before, but he has it. And, Caleb Plant, he actually looking like an action figure. So, the only other thing I can say about this fight is a lot of people are asking, is David Benavidez too emotional going in? And like you said before when we talked about it, being emotionally charged, and maybe some of that was just selling a fight. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. Maybe, some of that was actually selling a fight and being caught up in the moment, trying to get people interest or garner interest in the fight. So I'm not gonna take too much away from it because the numbers don't lie, and it's shown what they're actually able to do when they actually get in the ring. So I think that all that stuff kind of goes away when the referee, says let's get it on, and they actually have to stand toe to toe in there.
Yeah, Plant has to use that lateral movement. He has to attempt to slow David Benavidez down so that when they get to those latter rounds, that Benavidez doesn't have the same punching power. Hopefully he can deplete some of it through the course of the fight. But he's going to have to get in there, and he's going to have to take some chances from the outside, and he's going to have to land some big shots from the outside, because without putting some type of pressure on Benavidez and actually stepping to him and hitting him with some good shots, then you're not going to deplete his energy if he's just stalking you, and you're not putting the type of pressure on him to slow him down and to frustrate him. So he just can't move and think that that alone will give him the victory. He's going to have to put together some punches if he's going to stay on the outside. He just can't make it look like a dance. He's going to have to take some chances and put some leather on Benavidez to help drain him going into the championship rounds. Because without doing that, you're looking at a strong Benavidez going towards the end of the fight, especially during the point where Caleb Plant tends to slow down. So
right,
he's got to make his provisions throughout the fight to take away that opportunity from Benavidez. So he's going to have to do some fighting on the outside. He just can't make it a dance.
Yeah, he got a counter, and he has to force David Benavidez to use intelligent pressure. He can't just come forward winging it and just winging shots. He got to give him something to think about every time he go to punch. You got to give him something. He gotta fight back now, because David Benavidez is not going to stop coming. I think he can take a licking and keep on ticking. Now, he did touch the canvas before, even though Plant did get knocked out before as well. So David Benavidez has tasted the canvas. So he do have to give him something to think about, and he got to have something to keep him off of him, because if you don't have anything to keep David Benavidez off of you, I mean, it's a wrap. Like, we know that. And like you said, he got to stay off the ropes. He got to use his lateral movement, but I think he has to use it. I think he has to use it when he feel like he's in trouble, but I wouldn't recommend that he just run around the ring. I mean, it's something that he would have to have trained for in training camp. But when I look at things, again, looking at a master boxer in Mayweather, like when it came to him and Canelo, and also Bivol, the way Bivol did Canelo, because they keep comparing, Benavidez and Canelo and giving David Benavidez, pretty much the same respect that they would with Canelo, even though I don't think it's warranted just yet. But according to these statistics and the fighting style, yeah, maybe. But Mayweather didn't run and Bivol didn't run. It was a way to evade some punches, takes the subtle step backs in the step forwards, the side steps. It's some of it. It's not really running. It's not just doing like a la Lara when Lara fight for Canelo. I don't recommend that, because again, I don't think that would fare well with Caleb Plant's gas tank. But the way Bivol was doing it, he's a master at that subtle step back. Earl, he does it too. They're very good at it. And Shakur, he's like the master at it. That little side step or that little subtle step back when you need to create distance, in the lateral movement, like you said, it need to be a combination of that. And I think that, that's probably be his best tactic. And he also has to go to the basement. You got to put water in the basement on Benavidez. He got to slow him down. He got to keep, he kind of got to get him to guard those ribs, bring his hands down some. kind of like how he did with Darrell when he went to the body and then came up to the head, and hope that since Benavidez isn't used to somebody really fighting him back, you know, that you know, he can find that hole like he did with Anthony Darrell. It'll also be interesting to see if he would ever try to put Benavidez on the back foot. You know, I'm not sure, you know, with the style, you know, it's not that much of a reach advantage, only a half inch, not that much of a height advantage, you know, with 1 inch. But I haven't really seen Benavidez put on the back foot yet. It would be interesting to see him put on the back foot and see how he would handle that, because he's always the aggressor. I just don't think that people are willing to take that risk. And if that's not something he can handle, I wouldn't suggest him do it, but it would be interesting for us to see it as fans, I think.
Well, in order to put Benavidez on his back foot, he's going to have to make a statement early in the fight. He's going to have to hit Benavidez with something flush. And he's going to have to gain his respect from him. Because if he's not able to do that, expect Benavidez to keep coming forward in his traditional fight plan. So if Caleb doesn't hurt him or show significant power that makes Benavidez respect him, then I don't expect Benavidez to be on his back foot. So in order to get him on his back foot, he's got to land something with some authority in it, and he's got to earn Benavidez respect from it. Because if it's not, Benavidez is going to keep pressing forward.
Yeah. That's that. Yep. He got to do it early. He got to do it early because, you know, you got to take some steam off of him early. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So I was just you know, just you know, listening to a bunch of people. I mean, it's everybody's pretty much sold on, and they have their picks. It's not really any convincing. You know, to me, this is like a true 50-50 fight. Because you know, you just don't know. Like me, like we don't know if the pressure, you know, if Caleb will succumb to the pressure. But we also don't know if David Benavidez is going to be able to handle that footwork. Is he going to get frustrated? You know, because when you can't hit somebody, and you know, it's one thing when they say, "Are you going to run or are you going to fight?" It's like they want you to stand there and play, you know, rock'em sock'em robots. But when you're dealing with somebody that's a mover, that could frustrate you. And how you deal with, you know, not being able to hit, because they say the toughest thing is to hit a moving target. And Caleb Plant is a swift moving target that can dart in and dart out. You know, it's just whether he can do that all fight. Because we've seen it to where, you know, boxers be boxing beautifully. You know, a la Rashidi Ellis, you know, the whole fight. And then, boom, in the 11th round, you know, them legs start getting weak because you done move too much and somebody go upside your head at the wrong time and you got to survive. And you might not have what you need. You know, so it's interesting. It's interesting. I just wanted to do one of these, you know, and get your take on it, you know, going into the fight, because it is this weekend.
Yeah, that's my opinion. And the keys to victory for Plant is to establish some power early in the fight so that it gives him an opportunity to put Benavidez on his back foot. And for Benavidez, he's gonna keep coming forward, and I see hopefully getting Plant in trouble during the later rounds where he can then showcase his power to try to end the fight. So my prediction is that Benavidez will stop Plant in the later rounds. That's what I think gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's very much possible. You know, I think the jacket that they have on Caleb Plant is around the ninth. You know, around the ninth round, that gas tank starts to deplete. I'm not sure if the experience of being in it with Canelo and, you know, the pride of not, you know, rehearsing your past mistakes comes into play. But if that gas tank isn't right, oh yeah, because David Benavidez, like, again, to my surprise, has, you know, he has a gas tank. We know that. my prediction is that I think that if it's the same Benavidez that's been all hot headed and so emotional about just knocking him out, I think that could work to his detriment. So I'm gonna actually pick. I don't know. Before I was picking Caleb to stop him, but I'm not sure right now after going over the numbers again. I'm not too sure. But when I was looking at everything, I looked at the odds, and if I would have put 50 down on Plant for the TKO or the KO, I stand to make 350, and that's a bet I'm willing to make. So I'm willing to take. I'm willing to put 50 shillings down to make 350 off that. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. You know what I'm saying? I believe, hey, it's 50 that I'm willing to part with for that kind of return. And I think it's possible if David Benavidez don't get his emotions in check and his father does not reel him in and be the voice of reason and say, look, man, let's box. We be in there with Diego Pacheco, the young boy. We know how to box. He said we could box, hit and not get hit and things like that. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, sir. It's making up for a good fight. Like you say, this could be 50-50. And it really dictates on the pace of the fight and what has been established coming into the latter part of the fight. Whoever can inflict their will on the other stands an opportunity to prevail. But you're gonna have to fight this fight, the whole fight.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna take the championship rounds from one of those opponents to prevail. I think it's gonna be decided in the championship rounds. The last 3 to 4 rounds of this fight is gonna show and dictate who has the momentum.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a good call. I can see that. I can see that. I don't think Caleb want to go out like that. I think he felt like, hey, he was doing a good job. He got careless. So I can see that, and I think that David's going to get pushed in ways that he hasn't. I just want to see David come and break something out of the toolbox, because he's pretty much been able to have his way. When I look at some of these highlights, man, it's kind of hilarious, man, for people to, I ain't gonna say let him, you know what I'm saying, but the way he's able to just like, it's kind of comical sometimes, but I think he's gonna get pushed in ways that he hasn't been pushed in, and we'll see this weekend. You gonna watch it?
Yeah, I'm gonna make provisions to watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the next step is gonna be the weigh-in. As stuff come out, and, it's probably gonna be something hilarious. I think one of them episodes should be coming out. They should be giving us another Showtime episode on it, all access or something on them here. But the next step is the weigh-in, and I'll probably chit chat with you after I see how they look in the weigh-in, man, and get your take on how they look. And because you can tell a lot. I know I see when people are drained and if they look eyes glossy and all that good stuff. You kind of can see something then, how they look.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm looking forward to these guys going in the ring and we can figure this out, and the opportunity of watching it in real time.
Absolutely. All right, then. Well, enjoy your evening, and I'll be in touch with you soon.
Yes, sir. And you enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, then.
All right, Mike. You take care.
All right. Peace. Yeah, that's my old head K, man. He tends to think that Benavidez is going to do his thing. I kind of think that Plant's going to do his thing as well, but who's right and who's wrong, we shall see. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here at BodyWorkBoxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.